I'm going to tell you a story. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a fascinating story. You'll love it. And then I'm going to teach you a lesson. And the lesson won't seem to have anything to do with the story, and the story won't seem to have anything to do with the lesson. But then as I complete the lesson, you'll realize how the two of them are combined to teach you a giant, giant lesson in this video. Let's get started. Almost 37 years ago, when I was a brand new speaker, I got called by a radio station in a town, Aurelia, about an hour's drive from Toronto. They wanted me to be on radio. It was going to be my first radio interview. I was so excited. And they called me back the next day and said, "You're canceled." "What? What do you mean?" And they said, "We got somebody better." "What? You already made a commitment to me." And they said, "Well, yes, but there's someone who is world famous, and it's Bob Proctor." I said, "Bob Proctor?" He was like my idol, the legend. When I started 37 years ago, he was already world famous. He had already been known worldwide for 20 years. And I suggested, why not both of us? And to my shock, they accepted. So Bob and I drove up together, and we did the show together. And at the end of the show, the general manager ran into the station and said, "Wow, that was a brilliant interview. And as a bonus, I would like to invite you onto my yacht if you would like that." And so I answered for Bob and me, and I said, "Yes, we would love to go on your yacht as a thank you." So we went down to the waterfront, and he got on the yacht. And of course, he was like 2 or 3 stories up at the helm. And Bob and I were at the back, like with our fingers in the water. And Bob was my legend, and here I was sitting in a yacht with Bob Proctor, and I was just brand new. I hope you're enjoying this story. And Bob turned to me and said, "How much money do you earn?" And I was earning $250,000. In my first year, I was so excited, so excited. And so I told him that I was earning $250,000, and he was dead silent. And I knew why he was dead silent. He'd never heard of anyone earning that much money. He was stunned into silence. That's what I thought. That's not actually what was happening, but that was my thought. And then after a momentary pause, Bob turned to me and said, "How can you double that?" "What? I thought you were stunned by how much I'd earned." And I put it aside. I thought, yeah, double that, like that's gonna happen. And Bob and I have had this wonderful life where we both live in the same city of Toronto. We're both Canadians. And we bump into each other. Like for the last 37 years, we bump into each other a couple times a year because we're speaking at nearby meeting rooms in the same hotel, just by coincidence. And roughly a year later, I saw Bob in the hallway of some hotel. "Hi, I'm in this meeting room." "Oh, I'm in that meeting room." And Bob said, "How much are you earning now?" I said, "Oh, this year will be about $500,000. He said, "So you did double your income." "What?" He said, "You remember in the yacht, I told you to double your income?" And it started the wheels moving inside your head without you even realizing it, just because you trusted me and I invited you to double your income. I said, "Bob, that's amazing. I haven't worked any harder. I didn't even realize that I was doing it. I guess I just took your thought in and it worked its magic." And since then, other magical things have happened with Bob Proctor. He keeps increasing my income. We keep having a wonderful time together. Just recently, I was in his home and brought some of my best clients, and he taught me some other amazing things. I love Bob Proctor. He's magical. He says things and they just work on my brain and yours and bring me to a greater height. Anyways, that's my story. And I told you I'd tell a story, which I've just done. And I'm going to tell you a lesson. And I'm going to start it as if it's brand new, as if it's a whole new video even, because I want to highlight the fact that the story is very separate from the lesson. But then remember I told you, at the end of the lesson, they're suddenly going to come together in a shocking way to dramatically increase your income. here we go with the second half of this video. Hi, you know I'm Raymond Aaron. I don't have to introduce myself, but I know something about you. You're branded. You're special. You want to stand out in a crowd. You want to earn much more money. You want to be like friends of mine who earn way more than they deserve and can't believe people pay them so much. I know that about you. And so I want to tell you something. If you're branded, even a little bit branded, you have one job this lifetime, and that is to constantly, get this down, up brand. Once you're branded, or even a little bit branded, you must constantly up brand. What does up brand mean? The definition of up brand, UP-BRAND, is the act of attaching yourself to a higher brand. So for example, Starbucks attached itself to the higher brand of Oprah Winfrey by having an Oprah drink on its menu for 6 months. It was a special promotion. Instead of having chai latte, which is Oprah's favorite Starbucks drink, they had chai latte at $3 and then Oprah chai latte at $3.50. The extra 50 cents didn't go to Oprah, it went to her charity, and it raised about $100,000 a day for her charity for 6 months. So the bigger brand gets paid. She didn't personally put it in her pocket, but she put it into her charity, which was even better for her. And the lower brand gets lifted. Now, does the lower brand get lifted all the way up to the higher brand? No. And sometimes you can be up just a little bit. Sometimes you can be upped a lot. A little bit would be, for example, if you happen to see a famous movie star in the street and said, "Hi, Gwyneth Paltrow, can I have a selfie with you?" And you took a selfie, people would think a little more of you because you got a picture with some famous movie star, but not that much because you just happen to bump into her on the street. On the other hand, Starbucks got upped a lot because it was a 6-month program, and people who say Oprah's a higher brand, so when they saw that Starbucks was attaching itself to Oprah, they were very impressed. And people who had never been in Starbucks before, many of them went to Starbucks. And people who went to Starbucks and saw that Oprah's name was on the menu, they took pictures of it, put it on social media, and Starbucks got tens of millions of dollars worth of free publicity. So the big brand got money into her charity. The smaller brand got lifted up and its sales rose and stayed higher. So it's a really good thing. And you have a brand. I don't know how big it is. You don't know how big it is, but you want it to be bigger. Because the bigger is your brand, the more money you make and the easier you make money because money flows at you. People want you. They choose you because you're branded. And it's always the lower brand that asks the higher brand. So for example, if I give you two people, one is a political leader and one's a religious leader, I bet you can tell which one is higher. Barack Obama, the Pope. I'm sure you guessed the Pope. And because the Pope is higher than Barack Obama, when the Pope was on tour through the United States during Barack Obama's presidency, it was Barack Obama that invited the Pope to come to the White House. For what? For a photo op. The Pope didn't run around hoping he could meet the president, but the president ran around hoping he could meet the Pope. The smaller one always goes to the bigger one. And the reason is to get up-branded. When the ex-president book that Barack Obama is probably writing right now eventually comes out, I'm sure there'll be a picture right in the front of him with the Pope. That's what up-branding is all about. The more art, the more clever you are in attaching your brand to the higher brand, the higher is the way that you go from your brand to the higher brand. And so I know how I got wildly up-branded. How I got wildly up-branded is Jack Canfield invited me to write a Chicken Soup for the Soul book. Chicken Soup for the Parent Soul. New York Times top 10. Wow. And so because it was so successful, he asked me to do another one. Wow. I paid $100,000 to get that book, to get each of those books written. And I didn't have the $100,000 when he offered me the first one, but I begged and borrowed because I knew how wonderful it would be. I knew that my brand would get risen to Jack Canfield. I knew that my brand would get risen to the Chicken Soup brand, both of them higher than me, but they raised me enormously. And my speaker fee went up, my income went up, my fame went up, my notoriety went up. People wanted me, people knew me because of that. Raymond Aaron, oh yes, he wrote a Chicken Soup book. But they couldn't have said that before because I hadn't written one. As soon as I'd written one, they knew that about me because I'd been branded and I earned a great deal of money. And then I got the nod to write a For Dummies book. For Dummies and Chicken Soup are the two most gigantic nonfiction branded series, and I'm the only one in the whole world that has ever been in both. And so I got upbranded by the For Dummies empire as well. And so I decided I want to help you. I want to get you into a nonfiction branded series. So I called my friend Jack Canfield and I said, I've got some friends who want to get into a Chicken Soup book. He said, I'm sorry, we're using in-house authors to write all future Chicken Soup books. No problem. I contacted my contact person at the For Dummies empire and I said, I've got some clients who want to write a For Dummies book. They said, no, whoever wrote iPhone 11 is going to write the For Dummies book for iPhone 12. And so we're not letting any new people in. I said, what should I do? So I called my coach. My coach is the president of a university in North Carolina. And I said, what should I do? I want to help my clients. I want to get them branded and then upbranded and upbranded and upbranded so their income can rise so that the amount of money they pay to get in is nothing compared to how much they will earn by being wildly upbranded. And I told them that I couldn't get them into Chicken Soup and I couldn't get into For Dummies. What should I do? And he said, Raymond, you should start your own branded series. What? But the day it comes out, it'll mean nothing. It'll be brand new. No one will know it. And he said, correctly, no one knew Chicken Soup the day it came out, and no one knew For Dummies the day it came out. In fact, For Dummies sounds like a bad name. It sounds like you have to be a dummy to buy it. So he challenged me. He said, I want you to come up with a name for your series that as soon as someone hears it, they'll know that anyone who gets into it is a true authority. And I said, me? Why me? And he said, Raymond, you're the only one that's ever been in both series. That means my coach, if my coach wanted somebody to start a new nonfiction branded series, he'd ask me. He said, I'm the most qualified person in the world. And so I accepted his challenge and I started one, and it's called, you'll love this, The Authorities. If you get into a Chicken Soup book, maybe you're a chicken. If you get into a For Dummies book, maybe you're a dummy. But if you get into my Authority series, you are an authority. You are an authority. Wow. And I do some very special things for you. If you're approved, because there's an interview process, because I have to keep up my standards and keep up my brand of the authorities. If you get into the program, then you write one chapter, and your chapter is not just anywhere in the book. This is really important. Your chapter is number one. You are the lead authority in your book. You are the lead authority in your book. That is a huge wow. And then, this is huge. There are 3 celebrity authorities who are chapters 2, 3, and 4 right after you. Notice you're in front of the celebrity chapters. And then there's about 8 other chapters in the book to fill it out so that it's a full book. And where did those other chapters come from? Wait till you hear this. You're the lead chapter in your book, but then we put your chapter in 8 other books at no cost to you, no cost whatsoever. And that means when those 8 other authors, and for them, they're the lead chapter, and then there's the celebrity chapters, and then you're one of the other 8. They work hard to create their chapter, and they sell or give away their books to people you could never get to. And then your chapter trots along. You can be in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people through those 8 other books that you don't pay for and do no work whatsoever. You'll get business from sources you've never ever heard of, because at the end of each chapter, at the end of your chapter, you can put in a soft sell. You can say, if you're interested in my coaching, please go to this website. Or if you already have a book, maybe through the 10-10-10 program, then at the end of your authorities chapter, you can say, you might also be interested in my other book. And then, of course, in your other book, you can say, I've also written an authorities book if you get into the program. And so your books can help each other. You're the lead authority, but let me tell you who the celebrities are. They're amazing. There's 3 celebrities. I'm one of them. I'm a New York Times top 10 bestselling author, and I'm the creator of the authorities program. But then you have 2 other celebrities. Wait till you hear who they are. First of all, women like this one, that's Marcy Shimoff. Marcy Shimoff was the star of the movie The Secret. She's also one of the top 5 female nonfiction authors of all time. Of all time. She's written books, but the number of copies sold is in the tens of millions. She's amazing and very powerful. She was in The Secret. She wrote the book Happy for No Reason. Amazing. And she wrote about 8 of the Chicken Soup books, all the female ones, like Chicken Soup for the Mother Soul, Chicken Soup for the Grandmother Soul. You can have Marcy Shimoff as one of your 2 other celebrities. But you can also have, wait till you hear this, Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is one of the biggest names in the world in motivational speaking and in sales. My gosh, you can choose him. So I've told you about 2 of them, Marcy Shimoff and Brian Tracy, and you can choose those 2 if you wish. But there's more. Wait till you hear this. The most famous voice in the world today, voted one of the 5 top speakers of all time, Les Brown. You can actually have Les Brown as one of your speakers. And now I've got to make an announcement you won't believe. The number 1 most famous in the world relationship expert, Dr. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. You can have that amazing Dr. John Gray as one of your celebrities. Remember, you get to choose 2. And I'm making the announcement today. No one has ever heard this before. This is the first time I'm saying it out of my mouth. This is the first time you are hearing it into your ears. I've added another celebrity. This celebrity is even bigger than all of them. It's unbelievable. Bob Proctor has agreed to be one of the celebrities. Bob Proctor, the undisputed star of the movie The Secret, the author of his first book, You Were Born Rich. The man is such a towering legend, and he has agreed to be a chapter in your book. So you get me, plus you get 2 others of those celebrities. Yours is first, and then there's 8 other chapters who were the lead chapter in their book, but reciprocally, you get into 8 other books at no cost to you. This is the best thing I have ever done. And I have published, wait till you hear this, 80. There's now 80 authorities books on the market, and they have gigantically up-branded. I've only been in this program for 2 or 3 years, and I've accepted only those people that will really keep up the brand of the authorities. And if you think you qualify, click the link. Click the link, and what will happen when you click the link? When you click the link, then you'll be sent to a place where you can fill out a brief questionnaire to see if you qualify. And if you do, one of my very senior staff, sometimes it's me actually, one of my very senior staff will call you, ask you a series of questions, and they know what I'm looking for. And if we accept you, you're in. If we accept you, you're in. What is the tuition for this? It's $15,000. If that's too much for you, I get it. I'm sorry. If it's too much, it's too much. On the other hand, if there's any way you can do it, and there is a payment plan, if there's any way you can do it, my guess is, my really strong guess, is that your income will go up by more than that every year for the rest of your working life. That's an amazing investment. It's a startling program. We do all the work. We even hire a professional writer, a really great professional writer, to help you write your chapter to make sure it is perfect at my expense. We will do that for you. We'll do all the editing for you. We'll do all the formatting for you. We'll do the design of the cover. Everything. We're doing everything for you. And then at the end of this wonderful process, we send you 100 copies of your book. and you can sell them, you can give them away and make a lot of money. You can also order more copies at our cost to the penny, which is somewhere around $2.50, maybe $3. You, of course, sell it for $25. It's 90% profit. We'll even show you our invoice from the printer so that you know what you're investing in new copies is exactly to the penny what we pay. We want you to have all of the revenue from the book. I want you to have all the revenue from the book. Can you imagine saying, I'm the author of The Authorities? And people say, oh, what's The Authorities? Oh, it's an anthology of different chapters, and each chapter is a person who is an authority in his own field. And I'm an authority in my book. In fact, I'm the lead authority. And maybe you've heard of some of the other celebrities who are also my co-authors: Dr. John Gray, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Marcy Shimoff. Oh my gosh. Imagine being able to say, maybe you know one of my co-authors. Maybe you know one of my co-authors. The biggest names in the world are going to be your co-authors in a dignified branded series. There's lots of other benefits. You can read them on the page. You'll be explained everything if you qualify initially by completing your survey. It's a very small survey. It will only take you a few minutes to complete. And then one of my very senior staff, or maybe me, will call you personally to figure out whether you make it. I wish you the best of success in passing this process and getting into the authorities. I wish you the best of success in dramatically increasing your income. I wish you the best of success, and I'm helping you every way I can to not brand you, but up-brand you. To up-brand you in a really elegant and artistic way so that you can be branded as close to as possible. The Authorities series. It's a powerful series. You are powerful, and I will make you even more so by up-branding you to be an author, an accepted author in the Authorities. Wow. Click on that link. Best of success getting into the program.